The average Japanese home is 980 square feet. The average American home is 2,300. Japan has less than half the space. And yet, when you walk into a Japanese home, it feels bigger, cleaner, calmer, and more functional than houses 3 times its size. That's not an accident. It's engineering. Centuries of living in tight spaces forced the Japanese to develop systems that squeeze maximum utility, beauty, and comfort out of every square inch. While Western homes solve problems by adding more space, more closets, more rooms, Japan solves them by thinking differently about the space they already have. And here's the part that should change how you look at your own home tonight. None of these hacks require renovation. None require expensive products. Most require nothing more than a shift in how you think about your walls, your floors, your furniture, and the objects you've been accumulating without questioning why. These are 25 Japanese home hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. They aren't Pinterest-worthy decor tips. They're systems that will make your home work for you instead of the other way around. 25. Roll clothing instead of folding it flat, and the drawer space doubles overnight. Western closets are stuffed with stacked clothes that topple the moment you pull something from the middle. Japanese organizers solved this decades ago. Roll every garment into a tight cylinder and stand it upright in the drawer. You see every piece at a glance. Nothing gets buried. And the same drawer that held 15 stacked shirts now holds 25 rolled ones, because rolling eliminates the dead air between flat folds. This isn't just space saving. It reduces wrinkles because rolled fabric has even tension distribution. It eliminates the morning scramble of digging through piles, and it turns a chaotic drawer into something that looks and functions like a well-organized toolkit. Japanese households apply this to everything from underwear to towels to children's clothes. One drawer. 5 minutes of rolling. A transformation you'll feel every morning. 124. Use tension rods everywhere, not just in the shower. Walk into any Japanese apartment and you'll find tension rods in places you'd never expect. Inside kitchen cabinets to create a second shelf for cups. Under the sink to hang spray bottles upside down. Inside closets to double the hanging space. Between walls in narrow corridors to hold cleaning tools off the floor. Tension rods require no drilling, no screws, no damage to walls, which is critical in Japan, where most renters lose their deposit for any wall modification. But the design principle translates to any home. Every gap between two surfaces is a potential storage zone. The space under a shelf, the inside of a cabinet door, the unused vertical inches inside a closet. Japanese hardware stores sell tension rods in every width, and families use them the way Westerners use shelves, except they're adjustable, removable, and cost almost nothing. 23. Keep the floor completely clear. No exceptions. In Japanese design, the floor is sacred space. Nothing sits on it permanently. No shoes, no bags, no laundry baskets, no stacks of magazines, no pet bowls left out overnight. If it's not furniture, it's not on the floor. This isn't aesthetic preference, it's functional psychology. Research from environmental psychology consistently shows that visible floor space is the single strongest predictor of how clean a room feels to its occupants. A cluttered floor triggers subconscious stress responses, raising cortisol even when you're not consciously aware of the mess. A clear floor does the opposite. It signals order, safety, and space. Japanese families achieve this through wall-mounted storage, hooks behind doors, elevated shelves, and the cultural habit of putting everything away immediately after use. The rule is simple. If you can see the floor from corner to corner, the room feels twice as large, even if nothing else has changed. 22. Cook with a single burner mindset, even if you have 4 burners. Japanese kitchens are notoriously small. Many apartments have only 1 or 2 gas burners, and yet Japanese home cooks produce meals that are more varied, more nutritious, and more beautifully presented than most 4-burner Western kitchens ever manage. The secret is sequential cooking. Instead of running 4 pans simultaneously, creating chaos, splatter, and dishes to wash, Japanese cooks prepare one component at a time, plate it, and move to the next. The miso heats while the fish grills. The rice cooker handles itself. The pickles were already made yesterday. This reduces counter-clutter during cooking, minimizes the number of utensils used, and creates a calmer kitchen experience. You don't need more burners. You need a workflow that uses the ones you have with intention. Try cooking tomorrow's dinner using only 1 burner and 1 cutting board. You'll discover that the constraint produces better food and less mess than chaos ever did. 21. Hang cleaning tools on the wall. Never store them in a closet. In Japan, brooms, dustpans, spray bottles, and cloths are hung on hooks in plain sight, often in the kitchen or hallway. This looks counterintuitive to Western eyes, which hide cleaning supplies in dark cabinets under sinks. But the Japanese reasoning is brilliant. When cleaning tools are visible and accessible, you use them. When they're buried in a closet behind stacked bottles, you don't. Japanese households clean in micro moments throughout the day precisely because the tools are within arm's reach. You see a smudge, you grab the cloth, you notice crumbs, the broom is right there. This habit eliminates the need for marathon cleaning sessions because messes are addressed in seconds, not accumulated over days. The tools become part of the home's functional decor, not shameful objects hidden from view. And because they're wall-mounted, they dry properly between uses, preventing the bacterial growth that happens when damp sponges and mop heads are sealed in dark, moist cabinets. 20. Use one type of hanger for everything. Open a Japanese closet, and you'll often see identical hangers across the entire rod. Same shape, same color, same material. It looks obsessively uniform, but the effect is transformative. Matched hangers, wire, plastic, wooden, padded, create visual noise. They also create functional problems. Clothes slide off thin hangers. Thick hangers consume extra rod space, and the inconsistent widths prevent garments from hanging evenly. The result is a closet that feels chaotic, regardless of how few clothes it contains. Switching to one type of slim, non-slip hanger immediately creates visual calm, adds 20 to 30% more rod space, and makes the act of selecting clothes faster because the uniform spacing eliminates the snagging, tangling, and sliding that mismatched hangers cause. Japanese retailers like Muji and Nitori sell matching hanger sets specifically for this purpose. The investment is minimal. The closet transformation is dramatic, 19. Place a tray under every group of items in the bathroom. Every bottle, tube, and tool in a Japanese bathroom sits on a small tray or platform. Shampoo bottles on a tray, toothbrushes on a tray, soap on a tray. Not for aesthetics, for hygiene. When bottles sit directly on the counter or shower shelf, their bases collect water. That trapped moisture breeds mold and bacteria within 30 hours. The dark ring you scrub off the bottom of shampoo bottles every few weeks is a biofilm, a colony of microorganisms that you're placing back on a surface that contacts your skin. Trays made from bamboo or slatted resin allow airflow under the bottles, drying the surface within 30 minutes, the exact window before mold colonization begins. Japanese research found that bathrooms using raised trays had 45% less bacterial growth and 70% less black mold than those with direct surface contact. Cleaning the tray itself takes 3 seconds. Lift, wipe, replace. The mystery rings disappear permanently. 18. Designate a launch pad at the genkan for tomorrow's essentials. The genkan, Japan's recessed entryway, isn't just where shoes go. It's a staging area for the next departure. Keys, wallet, transit pass, umbrella, reusable bags. Everything needed for tomorrow is placed at the genkan tonight. This eliminates the Western morning ritual of frantically searching for keys, running back for a forgotten phone, and leaving the house in a cortisol spike that sets the tone for the entire day. When everything is pre-staged at the exit point, departure is smooth, calm, and complete. Some Japanese families even lay out tomorrow's shoes the night before, positioned facing the door, a small ritual that also signals to the subconscious tomorrow is prepared for. The anxiety of forgetting something dissolves because the system has already handled it. 17. Use the kotatsu principle. Heat the person, not the room. Before central heating existed, Japanese homes stayed warm through the kotatsu, a low table with a built-in heater and a heavy blanket draped over the edges. The family sits around it, legs tucked under the blanket, and only the occupied space is heated. This principle, heating the person rather than the room, reduces energy consumption by up to 50% compared to whole room heating systems. Japan's Ministry of Energy has documented that households using kotatsu and personal heating devices use significantly less energy than those relying solely on central heating. You don't need an actual kotatsu. The principle applies to heated blankets, hot water bottles, insulated slippers, and space heaters directed at occupied zones rather than empty rooms. Stop heating the bathroom you're not in. Stop heating the bedroom at 3 p.m. Heat yourself. Japan has been doing it for centuries, and their energy bills prove the wisdom. 16. Store nothing on top of the refrigerator. In Western homes, the top of the fridge is a graveyard. Cereal boxes, old cookbooks, dusty vases, forgotten appliances. In Japan, the top of the refrigerator is empty, always. The reason is thermodynamic. Your refrigerator exhausts heat from the top and back. When you pile objects on top, you insulate that exhaust point, forcing the compressor to work harder, consuming more electricity, and shortening the appliance's lifespan. Japanese appliance manuals explicitly state to keep the top clear with at least 5 centimeters of clearance. But there's a second reason: visual weight. A stacked refrigerator top adds visual clutter at eye level, making the kitchen feel smaller and messier. An empty top creates a clean horizontal line that the eye reads as space. Japanese kitchens feel larger partly because they maintain these uncluttered sight lines across the room. 15. Rotate seasonal items out of the home, not into storage. Most Japanese homes don't have attics, basements, or garages. There's nowhere to hoard seasonal items year-round, so Japanese families practice seasonal rotation. Summer clothes replace winter clothes. Summer bedding replaces winter bedding. Summer dishes replace winter dishes. What's not in season goes into compact storage, often rented externally, or is simply released. This forced rotation means the home only contains what's needed right now. Closets aren't crammed with coats in July. Shelves aren't cluttered with heavy blankets in August. The home breathes with the season, and every object in it is relevant to the current moment. Even without external storage, you can apply this principle by using vacuum-sealed bags for off-season clothing, storing them under the bed or in a single designated container. The rule is, if it doesn't belong to this season, it doesn't belong in active space. 14. Use curtains instead of doors on closets and storage areas. Japanese apartments frequently replace closet doors with fabric curtains or Norin-style split panels. This saves the 3 feet of swing clearance that a hinged door requires, immediately making the room feel larger. But the benefit goes beyond space. Fabric curtains allow air circulation into closets, preventing the musty, stagnant air that breeds mold in sealed closets, especially in humid climates. They also eliminate the visual weight of a solid door, softening the room's appearance. Installation takes minutes with a tension rod and a panel of fabric. The cost is negligible compared to replacing doors, and the room gains both physical space and visual lightness from a change that's completely reversible. 13. Wash dishes immediately after the meal, never later. In Japan, dishes are washed within minutes of the meal ending, not after the show, not tomorrow morning, now. This isn't discipline for discipline's sake. It's a system that prevents the cascade of mess that a sink full of dirty dishes creates. A dirty sink attracts more dirty items. One plate becomes a stack. The stack becomes a counter covered in pots, cutting boards, and utensils. The counter mess spreads to the stove. Within 24 hours, the kitchen requires a 30-minute deep clean that could have been prevented by a 5-minute wash immediately after eating. Japanese families often wash as they cook, cleaning each tool after its use before reaching for the next. By the time the meal is served, the only dishes remaining are the ones on the table. After eating, those go straight to the drying rack. The kitchen resets to 0 within minutes, every time. 12. Use natural light as your primary light source until sunset. Japanese homes are designed to maximize natural light. Shoji screens diffuse it softly. Furniture is kept low to avoid blocking windows. Curtains are sheer, not blackout, during daytime hours. And artificial lights stay off until the sun actually sets. This reduces electricity costs, but more importantly, it aligns the household's circadian rhythm with the sun. Research consistently shows that artificial light exposure during daylight hours suppresses melatonin production prematurely, disrupting sleep quality at night. By relying on natural light until dusk, Japanese families maintain stronger circadian signals, which translates to better sleep, better mood, and better morning energy. Open your curtains fully tomorrow morning. Leave the overhead lights off until evening. Let the sun do what your light fixtures have been poorly imitating. Your sleep will improve within a week. 11. Assign every family member a personal towel color. Cross-contamination from shared towels is a common household hygiene problem that most Western families don't think about. Japanese households solve it by assigning each family member a specific towel color. Father uses blue, mother uses green, children use pink and yellow. The colors never cross. This eliminates the bacterial transfer that occurs when one person's hand towel is used by another. It also makes laundry sorting instant and reduces the "whose towel is this" confusion that leads to damp towels sitting on floors and chairs. The system extends beyond hand towels. Some families assign colors to toothbrush cups, slippers, and even chopstick sets. The visual coding creates personal zones within shared spaces, reducing friction and maintaining hygiene without conversations about it. 10. Put wheels on everything that doesn't need to be permanently fixed. Japanese apartments use rolling carts, wheeled storage bins, and castered furniture extensively. The kitchen cart rolls out for cooking, then slides between the refrigerator and wall when not in use. The laundry basket rolls to the washing machine, then to the drying area, then back to the closet. The bedside table rolls aside when the futon needs to be folded. Wheels transform static furniture into adaptive tools. A room with wheeled furniture can be reconfigured in seconds for different activities: work, eating, sleeping, exercise, guests. The same 300 square feet functions as 5 different rooms depending on where the pieces are positioned. This is how Japanese families live comfortably in spaces that would feel claustrophobic with fixed Western furniture. The room isn't small. The furniture is mobile. 9. Clean the sink last and make it shine every time. In Japanese kitchens and bathrooms, the sink is the final thing cleaned, and it's cleaned to a shine every single night, not scrubbed occasionally when it looks bad. Polished daily as the closing ritual of kitchen and bathroom maintenance. The reasoning is psychological. A gleaming sink signals to the brain that the room is clean even if other surfaces are imperfect. A dirty sink signals neglect even if the rest of the room is spotless. The sink is the visual anchor. When it shines, the room feels maintained. When it doesn't, nothing else matters. This takes 60 seconds. Rinse. Wipe with a cloth. Dry. Japanese families treat this as the period at the end of the kitchen's daily sentence. The room closes clean. It opens clean tomorrow, and the cascade of mess that starts with a dirty sink never begins. 8. Keep a small plant in every room, but only one. Japanese homes rarely have elaborate indoor gardens. They have one small plant per room: a single fern on a shelf, a small succulent on the windowsill, a tiny potted herb in the kitchen. 1. Research from Chiba University found that the presence of even a single small plant in a room reduced psychological stress by 12% and improved perceived air quality, even when the plant was too small to meaningfully filter air. The effect is visual and emotional. not chemical. One plant signals nature, life, care. It transforms a sterile room into a living space. More plants create maintenance burden, visual clutter, and the guilt of dying foliage. One plant is sustainable. One plant is intentional. One plant is enough. 7. Use the Oshier closet principle. Stack vertically with clear boundaries. Traditional Japanese closets, called oshier, are deep, wide spaces originally designed to store futons during the day. Families organize them with rigid vertical divisions, adjustable shelves, stacking boxes, and clear-sided bins that prevent the everything dumped in a pile chaos of Western walk-in closets. The principle: divide vertically first, then organize within each division. Top shelf for seasonal items, middle shelf for daily use, bottom shelf for heavy or infrequent items. Within each shelf, labeled boxes prevent items from migrating. The clear boundaries make it physically impossible to shove things in randomly because every zone has a defined capacity. Apply this to any closet with inexpensive shelf dividers and matching storage boxes. When every zone has a limit, overfilling becomes visible instantly, and the cluttering decision makes itself. 6. Fold the futon every morning. Even if you sleep on a Western bed, whether you sleep on a futon or a bed, the principle is the same. Expose your sleeping surface to air and light every morning. Japanese families fold their futons immediately upon waking, allowing the tatami beneath to breathe and the moisture from overnight perspiration to evaporate. You release approximately 200 milliliters of sweat per night into your bedding. When that moisture gets trapped under a made bed or an unfolded futon, it feeds dust mites and mold. By pulling back sheets, opening the bedroom window, and allowing 30 to 60 minutes of air exposure before making the bed, you reduce the allergen load in your sleeping environment dramatically. Japanese futon culture solved this problem centuries ago. Morning folding isn't tidiness. It's mattress hygiene, and it works whether your bed is on the floor or on a frame. 5. Designate a nothing zone in every room. The Japanese concept of negative space. Every room should contain at least one area where nothing exists. No furniture, no decor, no storage, just open floor or empty wall. This isn't wasted space. It's functional emptiness. Gives the eye a place to rest. It gives the body room to move, and it gives the mind the visual signal that the room has capacity, which is psychologically calming in a way that fully packed rooms can never achieve. A Tokyo apartment study found that rooms with intentional empty space felt 35% larger to residents than identical rooms where every surface was filled. The empty corner, the bare section of wall, the clear stretch of countertop. These aren't design failures. They're design features. Clear one section of one room tonight. Remove everything from one shelf or one corner. Leave it empty. You'll feel the room change around that space like the entire house just exhaled. 4. Air the bedding outside in direct sunlight weekly. Japanese families hang futons and bedding over balcony railings in direct sunlight regularly. The UV radiation kills dust mites, mold spores, and bacteria that washing alone doesn't eliminate. The heat drives out moisture that machine drying doesn't fully address because dryers cycle air not sunlight. Published research from Japan's National Institute of Public Health found that sun-aired bedding had 80% fewer dust mite allergens than bedding that was only machine washed and dried. Participants who switched to weekly sun airing reported significant reductions in nighttime nasal congestion, morning sneezing, and skin irritation. Even a few hours of direct sunlight transforms bedding at the microbial level. Hang your sheets, your pillows, even your mattress topper in the sun once a week. Your sleep environment will be cleaner than any laundry cycle can achieve alone. 3. Practice Dansari. Refuse, reduce, release. Before Marie Kondo, there was Dansari, a Japanese decluttering philosophy coined by Hideko Yamashita that predates the KonMari method by decades. Dan means refuse, to stop unnecessary things from entering. Sha means reduce, to remove what no longer serves. Ri means release, to let go of attachment to objects. The order matters. Most Western decluttering starts at Sha, removing what you already have, but Dansari starts at Dan, preventing new clutter from entering. If you never buy the gadget you don't need, you never have to declutter it later. The best organization system is one where fewer objects arrive in the first place. Japanese families apply Dansari at the point of purchase. Before buying, they ask, where will this live? What will it replace? Will the first still want this in a year? If any answer is uncertain, the object doesn't enter the home. The container stays within capacity because the inputs are controlled. 2. Use the Ichigo Ichi principle. Treat your home as a once-in-a-lifetime space. Ichigo Ichi means one time, one meeting. It's the Zen concept that every moment is unique and unrepeatable. Applied to the home, it means treating your current living space as if it's the only one you'll ever have. Western culture treats homes as temporary. We'll fix it when we move. We'll organize after the renovation. We'll enjoy it once we upgrade. Japan says, this is the home. Right now. These walls, this floor, this light, honor it. When you treat your current home as your forever home, you invest care in its maintenance. You choose objects thoughtfully. You clean with intention. You repair instead of replacing. The space stops being a waiting room for a better future and becomes the sanctuary you actually live in. That shift changes everything. Not the square footage, not the budget, the relationship. And a home that feels loved always feels better than a home that feels tolerated. 1. Your home is not a storage unit. It's a living system. This is the principle that holds every other hack together. Every Japanese home concept, from the clear floor to the seasonal rotation, to the single plant to the empty space, flows from one belief. Your home is a system that should support your life, not a container where you store the evidence of it. Western homes accumulate. Japanese homes circulate. Things enter, serve their purpose, and leave. Space is maintained, not filled. Surfaces are cleared, not covered. And every object earns its place by contributing to the function, beauty, or meaning of the household. When you stop treating your home as a warehouse and start treating it as a living organism that needs airflow, seasonal change, daily maintenance, and intentional inputs, everything shifts. The cleaning becomes easier because there's less to clean. The space feels larger because less of it is consumed. The stress decreases because the environment signals order instead of chaos. Japan didn't discover minimalism. They discovered something deeper, that a home can either drain you or sustain you, and the difference isn't size, money, or location. It's the 25 daily choices you make about what enters, what stays, and what leaves. Start making those choices tonight. One hack, one drawer, one clear floor, one empty corner, and watch your home finally start working for you instead of the other way around.